And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. And again, for the second week in a row, Matt, our worlds really are meeting, the worlds of Twitch and the world of YouTube. We're in two places at once again.
We are, indeed. Yes, last week was pretty good. Pretty good in terms of like the multi-streaming thing. It worked pretty well.
People seem to like it. We even got some super chats there. Again, I see A. Carter in the chat. Hello. I see B. Black, which is, of course, Danny Blackston, Space Lord, Noel, Lucier. We got all our friends. We got all the warriors.
We got them all.
We got everyone hanging out with us. Again, you know, as you said, it was a success last week, so we're probably going to try and keep doing it as we move on to the future there. As far as the podcast on my channel, this is supposed to be an off week, but again, I just don't freaking know what's happening. I was talking to Matt before we started. Numbers were good this week when I uploaded the show. I don't know. It was because we had a new thumbnail. It's because there was better books. I don't know.
Yeah, again, numbers were up on my channel, and like, as I said, I was looking through my analytics for this time last year, and it seems to be about this time, you know, June, July is when it starts going up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, is this the lull before, you know, the big everything comes back for summer event season? Hell, yeah, I imagine your biggest market is probably my biggest market too, and that is America. Hello, American friends. Are more American people just getting out now? Are they getting out again because they're vaccinated? Could that be something?
That could be it, yeah. That could be it.
Damn it, you know, this cure for this, you know, horrible pandemic really hurt me in the wallet. If only people could continue to cower inside and watch Cape Joel video after Cape Joel video. That's what I would really like, is all I'm saying. How's your week been, Matt?
Not too bad. We couldn't do the show yesterday because I had a last minute call into work, so I had to go do that. But other than that, I've been sort of just playing some video games. I've been watching a lot of anime as well, using up my Anime Lab subscription there.
There you go.
Watching some of that, the new season of My Hero Academia.
Oh, yes. Again, I still need to finish the first season. Back when no new comics was coming out, I watched everything except for the last. I watched the first episode of the last arc. I'm like, I'm going to come back to this. And then comics started up again, and I didn't. So, you know, again, I don't know if they ever, made it out of that major training facility. I don't know.
Oh, they did. They did.
they did. Oh, geez, spoiler alert for what? Something that's like 8 years old.
They're still in there because it's all been filler up until then.
Yeah, in this movie theater, Matt, they're still trapped in there and will be for a long time. Shit. Yeah, I've been trying to catch up on stuff too. My Law and Orders had big season finales. Final Space had its penultimate episode this week. Haven't watched the new Legends yet, but I'm planning to. Loki starts, what is it, in like 2 days? On like the 9th we get Loki?
Yeah, well, it starts for me tomorrow night.
Ah, that's right, because of the time difference and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's that Sweet Tooth show too, which I haven't started yet, but I plan to.
I finished it last night. It's wonderful.
Right on. Now, did you read the book?
I haven't, no.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm starting a new thing now, watching shows where I didn't read the book, and we'll talk more about that later on when we get into a news topic. It's funny, I don't know if you saw it, but Jeff Lemire on Instagram, he put out like a little email there, I think it was like from 2017 or something, where he was clearly talking to some industry bigwig who's saying there, you know, no one's going to want to watch a show about a deer boy, Jeff, and no one is certainly going to make it. Flash forward to now.
Yeah. I bet that guy's kicking himself.
Yeah. And yes, the chat, the third season of Final Space is out. It's almost over, in fact. It was the penultimate episode this week.
Nice.
Final Space is great, FYI, chat, if you're not watching. It's a great, spiritual successor to sci-fi comedies like Futurama, I would say.
Yeah.
It's good shit. So, yeah, that's what my week has been. I've been plodding along in Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, too.
Yeah, where are you up to?
I just got off, the Citadel, because I'm recording my play sessions. I'm recording it in 30-second chunks because I do plan on putting it up at some point.
Okay.
I just got off the Citadel after doing all the side missions and collecting all the teammates and everything. And it's funny that they introduced me to a system that I had no idea was in this. And it's like, okay, so go find Dr. Liara Chisoni. Easy enough. I'll go over here. Oh, there's a bunch of planets here. Am I just supposed to check everyone? Yep, I am supposed to check everyone.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have some things on it. Sometimes they won't.
Actual real space exploration there and everything. I fought the Thresher mob. I got to drive the Mako for the first time, and I'm like, oh yeah, all I remember people saying is how bad the Mako sucked. Oh, it's better, but it's still not great, which means it must have been really bad before.
Yeah, it's still terrible.
Wow. Again, you can see why they ditched that super quick for the 2 sequels.
Well, they ditched it in number 2, but then they brought it back in a DLC where you get like a hovercraft Mako.
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
thing for a DLC.
I vaguely remember this. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Tevy now. We were just saying Tevy. Oh, Tevy's not here when we started. We hope he's okay. He's usually always the first in line. Yeah. You were also totally right too, Matt. I hope because E3 starts soon, I hope they do announce that they're doing a Dragon Age Legendary Collection too.
Yeah. I really want to play one of them now.
Because I'm like, man, when BioWare's good, they're really fucking good, aren't they?
They're really good, yeah.
And also, too, Dragon Age 1 is really rough around the edges and could use a new coat of paint.
I'd argue as well number 2 does as well.
True enough in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they're just on that edge just before like games started like getting where you could start playing them now and they still look pretty good.
Hell, if I recall, the console version of Dragon Age 2 was like really buggy for a lot of those new systems back in the day.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to see them fix that up and everything. And also just so much DLC, because they made so much DLC for those games.
They made, yeah, and I remember they had that weird, like, thing where, like, the DLC was in the game if you didn't have it, but you couldn't access it.
Oh, yeah, that was a dirty trick. Hey, here's the old Warden base over in that direction. Probably some fun adventure over there. $5, please.
Yeah, can't go down that path. You need, there was, like, that thing that stopped you.
Yeah, I think it was a lot more than $5 to it. It was like 15 American.
Yeah.
B Black in the chat, Danny Black say, how about that Yuffie game coming out? Oh yeah, that's right. There's more Final Fantasy remake coming out too, isn't there?
Very excited for that. Because I think we can upgrade if you got it on the PlayStation Plus subscription.
Which I did.
You can upgrade it to the new version if you got a PS5, which I'm looking forward to doing.
Which I don't.
I get like Yuffie and all of that.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to try that. I forgot that it's like, oh yeah, they gave Final Fantasy VII Remake free, and I haven't had a chance to play yet because I haven't had time to devote to a big RPG, but I hope I will soon.
It's funny because I was like looking it all up the other day, and one of the things when the game first came out, people were talking about there was this door in the game which was like horribly rendered, like it looked horrible, and they fixed it in this new version. Everyone's going crazy. It's like, oh, it looks like an actual door. I can see the wood grain now.
We fixed the door. The thing that blew my mind is one of the guys I follow who's like way bigger into Final Fantasy than I am brought up that apparently in this new game there's going to be something involving Deep Ground and the villains from Dirge of Cerberus. I'm like, fuck off, really? In the Yuffie DLC? I'm like, well, I guess the timeline adds up.
And speaking of Final Fantasy, I actually picked up the Final Fantasy Online yesterday because it was like ridiculously, like you could get like the base game plus all its expansions for like $20.
That's funny because I told you I took the dive on that when I was bored and wanted something to play before I uninstalled it when I installed Legendary Edition. That's funny. I walk out, you walk in.
Well, I bought it for PC, but I know there is crossplay, so we should do something with that.
Yeah, there would definitely be some fun with there.
I played it a little bit last night because I had to let it install, and I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I liked too. I'm like, yeah, this actually feels like an MMORPG I could probably get into. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of, remember when we all played Guild Wars 2 back in the day?
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 was great.
It really was. Again, I looked back on that too. I'm like, oh, they came up with a bunch of DLC and a bunch of classes. Oh shit, should I get in there? Oh crap, I don't remember any of my information. Even though that was a very cool game where it's like, look, it's an MMO. You pay for it, you get to play it forever, and, we'll charge you a couple extra for, like cosmetics and stuff here and there. I'm like, that's a good system.
Yeah.
And also, too, because it's Guild Wars, and they're like, yo, our first Guild Wars was out for, like, what, forever? So we think we have a built-in enough fan base to do this again.
Maybe, hopefully they'll do, like, a new one, because I know, like, I recently saw it on Steam or some server, some platform, and it didn't, like, the graphics aren't too good now.
No. But it was very playable, was the thing. It felt good to play.
Was. Yeah.
And there was a lot of, like, actual story and cutscene, and, like, a lot of, like, difference depending on what you picked, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
That was good shit. Chat saying there, God of War Ragnarok got delayed to 2022. Yeah, that's about right, as it should be. For quality, I'm willing to wait.
Yes, and of course, all the people blamed the only female writer at Santa Monica Studio there. Because she has an online presence.
How does that happen? Funny when the internet is predictable as fuck.
Yeah.
But you know what, everyone? That's enough game talk now. I imagine Matt and I will probably do this again when E3 happens. When's E3? Is it this week?
This weekend. Is it next week? This weekend.
Okay,
I think we've got a show right on the day it finishes.
That happened last year, too.
Something. Yeah, so we can definitely talk about it.
Yeah, that happened last year, too, where it's like, oh, shit, E3's done. Time to do the show. And obviously we had, so much fun talking about it, which I'm sure we will.
Absolutely.
So yeah, with that out of the way, I guess we can hop into the actual news from this week, and there's a nice little smattering to be found.
There is.
We start off this week in the world of X-Men. Jonathan Hickman, he had stuff to say about his brand new X-Men event that's going to be starting soon. I thought it was a book, but they're making it sound like it's an event, and that is, of course, Inferno, which, if you read the Mystique story from X-Men 20 a couple weeks ago, they said that it's all basically heading in this direction. And hey, look, It's a big fancy poster that looks like the posters we got for Hawks and Pox.
Yeah. I imagine we're going to get an Inferno main book, and all of the books surrounding it are just going to tie into it.
I'll be interested to see how they run this. Will they run it like they ran X of Swords, where it goes through every book and you have to pick up every single one to follow the story? Or do it like they're doing Hellfire Gala now, which I actually quite enjoy, where it's like, look, if you want to follow the main story, read Marauders. You want to see how the party affects, all your favorite books, pick up that issue. Just know that this is all happening at the same time.
Yeah, I just read the Marauders book because I'm going to cover it on my channel just before this, and it was a delight.
It is. They've all been delightful. I love that it's a big X-Men event where no one's fighting and dying. Well, okay, there's a little of that, but ultimately it's all just built around everyone having a fun party.
Yeah.
There should be more events like this where it's like, yeah, we went away to summer camp. We had fun for a week.
It's really funny as well when you compare, like, you've got this, like, it's a nice, fun, wholesome event compared to, like, issue 20 of that X-Men book where, like, Charles and Eric basically lied to Mystique and, like, no, we're not going to bring back Destiny at all.
Death, misery, the end of the world, Orchis winning. Yeah, it's a beautiful palate cleanser, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's also like in Sword as well when they had that meeting with Cortez and they're like, just, we've got a gala to deal with. You're off the team now. Please go away. You're not important anymore. It's like, wow.
Thank you, Brandon Williams, for the subscription. Always appreciate it. I guess looking at this image here, does anything stick out to you specifically? We see Mystique standing right by Magneto, who's back in his classic black costume, which looks like he's going to be donning for Trial of Magneto that's happening before this.
Yep. There's obviously like a bunch of dead mutants, like Polaris and Havoc and
Wolverine, Gambit,
Jean Grey. Yep.
Yeah, they all look like they're dead, which, interesting, considering that we've defeated Death. We can also see Xavier and Moira sitting on the same bench from Hawks and Pox, only, look, they're looking away from each other now, like they're at odds with each other.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense as well. Again, going back to issue 20 with that ending where it was like Moira kind of put forth that she was sort of like a break glass in case of emergency sort of thing.
Bay the Blood Moon Hunter is actually quite prominently featured here, which is interesting because a lot of those other Exasword, Erico characters kind of faded away, but not her though. She's here to stay.
Yeah, there's one in Sword who took the place of Cortez, and she's been like murdering her way through the galaxy and everything. But yeah,
right on. Also, too, Magic and Bishop seem to be the two like biggest images on the page, which is interesting. I'm like, wait, are they saying that they're actually going to do something big and important in this story? Or did the artist just really want to draw these two?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Obviously, this won't be coming for a while. This won't be coming till September, so we have time to wait for this one.
We got some build-up, yeah.
We got some build-up here, and again, we got that whole trial of Magneto, too, which I don't know if that's going to be a story in a bunch of books or just in the main X-Men book.
Oh, I have a feeling it's going to affect quite a few books. He's kind of all over the place. Like, he's involved with Sword. He pops up every now and then in all the other books because of the Kite Council. And...
Yep. He's at the party dressed like Willy Wonka's pimp.
Yep.
Seriously, like, everyone's at 10, but Magneto's like, no, 11.
I need to make a statement.
I need to make everything is a power move with me, Eric Lensher, and that is even dressing in the loudest, most blinding shit. Oh, don't worry, I am going to cover Captain America eventually. It keeps getting pushed down the there's a lot of books I want to cover. I want to cover that, which I know it's ending soon, so if I end up having to do both issues back to back, I will. And same with the Miles clone saga and everything else. There's just too many books now. Luckily, I have made some cuts, though. I cut Teen Titans Academy, and I cut Crime Syndicate, so there's room now. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Again, I don't fucking know. I say that, and then they keep coming out with new shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's X-Men Inferno for you, everyone. As the chat said, I hope there's not too many allusions to the original Inferno. I don't remember reading that one. Yeah, I think this is much like Secret Wars. I think this is just in name only.
Yeah. Much like Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, that we're just going to take the name because it's good.
Yeah.
And it is good. Moving on from there, we got some convention news, something we haven't talked about in a very long time. And in fact, I only found this out myself because I know some people who are putting in for press for this. But apparently New York Comic-Con, the second biggest con in the world, arguably, and probably the biggest con that you can actually go to because ain't no one fucking getting to San Diego.
Well, they had the San Diego Comic-Con. Do you remember that? Remember how everyone remembered that was happening that weekend?
Yeah. How about that? But yeah, New York Comic-Con is actually going to be open this October. They're actually doing it this time. Again, I'm sure they're doing it, but with all the different criteria, you're probably going to be checking your temperature, masks, and everything. But they are going to be doing it. So this looks to be the first really giant con that's coming back.
We'll see, because I think we kind of said the same thing about San Diego Comic-Con.
Until it didn't.
And yeah, it just ended up being like a complete mess.
Yeah, so, I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen, because I know some people who are fully vaccinated and very excited to get a chance to go back to a con again.
This also is on the predication that, there isn't another flare-up of it.
Yeah, that there's not another massive spike or anything. And America's been doing good, because they've slowly but surely been getting more people immunized, and, it's good that they're doing this in a coastal city, too, so even more reason.
Yep.
So, I mean, more power to everyone. Hopefully it goes off without a hitch, and hopefully we don't hear a couple months later, oh no, it was actually a super spreader event. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's the last thing we want. Oh, is the chat saying, too, apparently C2E2 in Chicago is open as well.
Oh,
interesting.
Nice.
So
awesome.
That's the third biggest one, close third.
Awesome.
Never been to C2E2, always wanted to. Looks like a lot of fun. That's where a lot of the big actual comic book news is broken.
Yeah.
In New York, you usually get, TV shows and movies and basically the spillover from San Diego, which is much more entertainment-based and everything. But C2E2 and Emerald City, I love, because those are the two shows where they actually break the real comic news.
Yeah.
Now, another interesting thing about this New York Comic-Con, and you and I talked about this, a year ago when all of this shit went down, and that is, how will all these at-home Comic-Cons, all these digital streaming things, change conventions when they actually start back up again? And we actually do now. New York Comic-Con is offering a thing where for a reasonable price, I don't know how much it is, but basically you can pay a small fee and you can digitally watch their main stage for the entire show. So you can basically watch every panel at home now.
That's pretty cool.
That is good. So if you can't make it, if you're in another country, or if you even just don't feel safe, you can kind of get the con experience at home, which honestly, this is shit they should have been doing years ago.
Yeah, I can understand though, the whole exclusivity of cons, you can only see this in Hall H or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can understand now in more than ever they need to probably do this sort of stuff.
You're right. Exclusivity was, for the longest time, their last true great selling point, because it's like, look, you want to buy nerdy merchandise, you can do that online. Look, you want to do cosplay, you can do that anywhere now. You don't have to come to a special place yearly to do it. And even the panel thing, where it's like, well, when everyone's got a freaking phone in their pocket.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the thing. Like, every San Diego Comic-Con, you'd always get someone leaking something.
Yep. You know, back in my day, we watched grainy cell phone video of the big trailers, and that's how we liked it.
Hell, I remember seeing a leaked first trailer for Iron Man 1, which I think you can still actually find on YouTube.
That's good. That's good. That takes me back.
And it was like presented by Jon Favreau and everything.
That's a warm feeling, I tell you what. My favorite ones is they're like, hey, everyone, now don't film this. Then they do.
Then everyone's phone goes up, yeah.
Everyone's phone goes, don't film this, though. Wink. Yeah, God willing, Australia and Canada will get their convention scenes up again after 2 years away. I certainly miss it, and I miss interacting with the fans and everyone, and I miss getting picked out of a crowd. That was always fun.
Oh, our conventions have been going since the start of the year.
Yeah,
but they've been like terrible because obviously like there was one I was going to go to one in April, and I'm like, okay, well then like who's there, who's like going to be going, and it's like, oh, it's this person from Lord of the Rings, and it's basically like people who are already in country, and I'm like,
local people,
so like barely anyone,
because no one can come because, you know, we gotta really take border security seriously. And you're right, when they start up here again, could very well be like that. You're absolutely right, Matt. You know, New York Comic-Con, C2E2 have this added, you know, benefit of that being like, oh, celebrities live here anyway.
Yeah.
And they probably want to make some money too, so there you go. Shit, I should really try and, sell myself to the local cons. Look, you may not have A-list celebrities, but you've got Z-list YouTube celebrities, and I will work twice as hard for half as much. Well, we were going to pay you nothing, and I will work twice as hard for that nothing. Mark my words, I'll do it for a hot dog and a handshake. We will give you a handshake, okay? And I will not look you in the eye when I shake your hand. I would not expect it. But yeah, so good con news. You know, the con's returning. Nature is healing.
Yeah.
In its own weird way. What else do we got after that? Ooh, some big news from the world of Marvel Comics. Of course, if you follow Matt and myself, we've been saying for a while now, who will take the reins of both the Venom book and the Immortal Hulk book, because obviously both Al Ewing and Donny Cates have had legendary runs, completely breathed fresh life into these books, and we've said many times, boy, I don't want to be the guy to have to follow these two amazing acts. To my shock and surprise, though, Matt, what ended up happening?
They ended up just trading books.
They ended up trading, which honestly is probably the best idea that they could possibly have had. Look, you know, these are incredibly hard acts to follow. Hey, Al, hey, Donny, let's just trade. And they did.
And yeah, it looks pretty good because we're going to be getting, obviously, Donny Cates doing Hulk, with Ryan Ottley, and Al Ewing and Ram V doing Venom. Yeah,
which is quite interesting. And Hitch is going to be doing the art on that, which I would not be expecting Brian Hitch to draw a Venom book, but he is.
Yeah, he is.
Venom obviously is going to be going in a more cosmic direction, as we all assumed it was after, you know, Venom became the new King in Black, basically.
The new Null, yeah, basically.
The new Null, yeah. So he's going to be doing a bunch of space stuff. A lot of people have already jumped to the conclusion, oh, so Venom's probably going to be involved in Last Annihilation and all this other stuff now that he's a cosmic player.
I could see that, yeah.
I could see it too, and, you know, good for Eddie, onward and upward.
I'm wondering, though, as well, just, again, talking about Sword, because the mutants have been getting involved in like galactic powers, like they ended the Snark War, so they'd have like people from that race in their pocket and everything. I wonder if they'll get like involved in like the symbiotes and be like, okay, we get some symbiote like favors happening.
Quite possibly. Tevy saying, oh, so he's Space Knight now? Yes, the last time Venom was a cosmic book was, Flash Thompson, Venom Space Knight. They'll probably make reference to that. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to happen. And Donny Cates on Hulk, the book is just called Hulk now, and it's being heralded as a kind of return to form, which on one hand, it's like, yeah, that was bound to happen. And on the other hand, Are you really going to put all that Green Door stuff away? It feels like you kind of can't put the genie back in the bottle.
It's Donny Cates. He's gonna embrace that shit. I know he said he didn't want to tell anyone what's happening, but he said one word, and that was smastronaut.
Okay, so they're all going to space now.
Yeah, I don't know what like that obviously means, but yeah, that's intriguing.
Smastronaut. Okay. Is the Hulk the Smastronaut, or is someone else astronauting to where he's smashing to find him?
Is Hulk gonna become like the Marvel Universe's Elon Musk and create like space Hulk flights or something?
Hulk build rocket. Actually, Hulk just hurl rocket into space. No need fuel.
He just sits them in the chair and hurls them into space. Yeah.
Wow, this is so much cheaper than having a government space program. Wow, why didn't we think of this years ago? But yeah, so this is pretty cool. Ottley on art is interesting too. Hopefully he can be more consistent with this and actually draw more of the book than he has been drawing Spider-Man recently.
Yeah, he's been like every other book of Spider-Man, or every other page or something.
Remember when everyone was so excited, like, oh, we got the Invincible guy. He's going to be drawing Spider-Man. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know.
Again, his work is good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Just, I hate waiting for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we go. We finally got the question that's been on the tip of our tongue forever. How are they going to follow up these two series? This is how.
Yep.
Which, works for me.
Absolutely. I'll definitely be picking up both of these.
Again, it was the best part is we get to keep reading Hulk and keep reading Venom. We don't have to stop.
No, absolutely.
Because very easily, if they had come out with pitches we didn't like after these legendary runs, we could have both been, justified in being like, yeah, I'll wait.
Well, again, I think Marvel knew that. Like, how are we going to follow up on these two great events? We'll just switch the writers.
Like, not only do we have a great Hulk book, we have a Hulk book that was outselling Batman at a point.
Yeah.
Which has got to be such an amazing feather in their cap. And we have a Venom book that is getting better reviews than, like, Avengers and other shit. Like, people are actually excited about Venom again.
Yeah, and for, like, good reasons as well. Not just he beats people up. It's like, he's a good character now. He actually has character development done to him.
Yeah, like, not ironic, like, yo, we love Venom because he's so fucking hardcore. No, we love Venom because he's a tortured father. And everything else. So that's cool. I'm excited for both of those.
Yeah.
Moving on there to some movie news. Issa Rae is joining the cast of Spiderverse 2. Again, subtitle pending. I'm sure there'll be a subtitle to it. Into the Spiderverse again. Into the Spiderverse. Can you believe we Spider-Versed another time? No one has confirmation on who she's playing, but everyone is pretty sure that she's going to be playing some version of Spider-Woman.
Yeah, kind of makes sense, yeah.
Again, I say some version because it's multiversal, so maybe she's playing Jessica Drew, maybe she's playing any other number of Spider people.
Absolutely.
Sounds cool. The first one was great and has a lot to live up to.
Definitely. I am intrigued to see what they're going to do with this in terms of, like, because obviously that first one had all those different art styles for the different Spider-Man, so, like, how are they going to change that up?
Yeah, what's her raison d'etre going to be? Also, thank you, B. Black, Danny Blackson, for reminding us there that she was in the show Insecure. I was going to say, where do we know her from? Because I don't think I've seen her in anything. Thank you for mentioning something she's been in.
I've seen ads for that show, but I haven't seen that show.
Well, the chat seems to like it, so there we go.
Must be a good show.
Must be a good show, then, if it's got penetration in our audience. So there you go. And I'm sure this will be the first of many announcements of new Spider people that we're going to have.
Absolutely. We already have some, don't we? We know, is Oscar Isaac going to be back as Miguel O'Hara?
Yeah, I guess he would have to be, wouldn't he? Because that was the sequel tease.
He's the tease at the end, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we got that. We got Spider-Woman. I'm sure there's any number of Spider people. They're probably going to bring Gwen back because, they seem to want to spin Gwen off into her own movie, and she had the closest relationship to Miles.
Yeah, Spider-Ham will probably come back.
Because, that's good comedy relief for the kids. And Mulaney's just out of rehab, so there we go.
Yeah.
Out of rehab and dating Olivia Munn, my man. Jesus Christ. What was the tweet I read that liked so much where it's like, John Mulaney got out of rehab and the next day we found out he was dating Olivia Munn. Boy saying white boy summer with his whole chest. That's funny. But yeah, so I'm on board for Spider-Verse 2, as you could tell. And honestly, the fact that they can change up the cast and do so much stuff different is maybe good reason to be even more excited for this, because it's like, oh, they could not only make this really good, but they could actually make it really different.
Yeah, again, like every movie they do, and it could just be completely different from the last.
Absolutely. All right, then. Moving on from there. Actually, no, before we move on, more Sony Spider-Man news we didn't talk about, but I should mention anyway. So Aaron Taylor Johnson's going to be Kraven in the Sony Kraven movie.
I remember I like... When I saw that news, I was still like half asleep, and I thought it was going to be Anna Taylor-Joy, the woman from the Queen's Gambit. And I got really confused. I'm like, what?
Man, I wish they would. Man, they're going in a real different direction. And okay, all right. I'll see. She's good. Is she that good? We'll see. But yeah, so what blows me away about Aaron Taylor Johnson is the only thing worth mentioning, because these are Sony Spider-Man movies, which outside Spider-Verse have not been that great. It's this idea that, if superheroes continue to be the dominant media form into the next decade, like it was in this decade, how many more times are we going to see actors double, and in Johnson's case, triple dipping Quicksilver, Kick-Ass, Kraven?
Probably quite a few.
Like, it's crazy. Like, my idea was where it's like, well, no, if you're in one series, you can't be in another one. Apparently, yes, you can.
Yeah, money talks.
Apparently money talks. Is like, yeah, I'll take another, dice roll on a superhero thing. Also, if this means he's Kraven, does that mean we might not see him, like, back again in some others? I don't know, man. It's crazy.
I'm not sure.
It's crazy. Like, is there, like, contractual obligations? Because you have to imagine they're putting that in contracts where it's like, look, if you play a guy for us, you can't play someone for the competition.
I'd have to think maybe, but then I'd also think that maybe sometimes actors wouldn't want that, because they're like, well, what if this bombs? Like, then I can't go do this, and stuff like that.
Again, I imagine that's more of a litigious issue for lawyers and managers and everything, to be like, look, he wants a certain level of creative control and an opt-out clause. If it fails, he gets to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Then again, too, this is going to be a Kraven movie from the Spider-Verse people. So, I don't know. Maybe there'll be something funny and interesting about it.
Yeah. See, I don't know whether you could... I mean, you probably can do a Kraven movie without Spider-Man, but still, like, that's
it's going to be really weird.
Yeah, that would just end up being like an action movie with just big hairy Russian running around just killing, like, animals and hunting people for sport. Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what you got to do with Kraven. It's like, he's a conservationist. He hunts animals for the betterment of animals, and he really hates poachers. That's the only way they could make that movie make sense. He finds his wife, Calypso, who I love so much. I don't know why he's Scottish, but there you go. And and he gets hurt, and he inhales the herbs, and it gives him the power and everything.
Yeah.
That's what they got to do.
I don't think they'll do the herb thing, because that's a bit too close to Black Panther.
A little bit. Maybe it's a potion now. Maybe it's like something more magical. I don't know.
Maybe he just like chugs some toxic waste or something. I don't know. He's Russian. So.
As the chat says, Ace Ventura 2 versus Kraven. Yeah, he's gonna be a grittier Ace Ventura, basically. Kraven,
he's gonna
the hunt
Ace
detective.
Ventura. That's the thing.
Oh shit, that'd be fun. I'd watch that movie.
That's Jim Carrey's next role after Sonic 2.
Yeah, he's busy man. And again, too, this is also Sony Spider-Man, so there's a good chance it might never happen. Remember
True.
Morbius?
True, yeah.
Remember Morbius was a thing until it wasn't?
It still is. Is it?
Morbius from Sony is the Schrodinger's cat of movies. It is both existent and non-existent, alive and dead.
We'll soon know. Does Jared Leto deny its existence like he does that other film he was in?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, he doesn't have internet on his sex cult island, so, they didn't know Corona was a thing, so he probably doesn't know Morbius is a thing either. That's the problem. But yeah, so there's your Sony news, everyone. Moving on from there, we got a little Netflix superhero news, and this one was really unexpected, Matt. I think this one ended up shaking a lot of people. Jupiter's Legacy canceled after only one season.
Which is very strange, considering it actually did really good numbers, like in terms of streaming and everything. Yeah, it did really, really well.
This is the problem with Netflix when they're one of the biggest games in town, where it's like, well, what is good for you? What constitutes good for you, Netflix?
Do you reckon it might have been because it was like too expensive or something, and it's like, it is successful, but like we don't want to pump $200 million into it or something?
Well, the rumor, yeah, exactly. The rumor around it was that it cost $200 or $200, yeah, only $200.
$200.
Only $200 American. No, it cost $200 million to make, which when I look at it, I raise my eyebrow. I'm like, it doesn't look that expensive.
Yeah, again, you have to wonder, like, was it like the cast or anything? But then you think, oh, they don't really have that many like top tier A-listers in it, so they couldn't have been that expensive. Were the suits really expensive?
I don't know. Maybe nothing. Was Tyler Maine's Black Star makeup too expensive?
That cost $150 million
just on its own. So weird. Like, I thought the show had potential, and as we had said before, I went into this not knowing the comic book and quite enjoyed it. So I can only imagine other people went into it and enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I've never read one of the comic books. I've been meaning to, but I've never read it before I saw the show, and I quite enjoyed the way it told its story.
Yeah. It's weird. It's really weird because I thought, like, oh, this one will definitely make it. You know, this one will succeed in the same way The Boys succeeded and Invincible succeeded. You know, Amazon has opened the door. It doesn't always need to be DC or Marvel. People will, enjoy because they just like superheroes as a whole. Or not.
And as on top of all that, it really upsets me as well because this is like the only one of those shows, like The Boys and everything that you mentioned, that has a Superman-esque character who is Superman-esque. He isn't an evil version of him. He's a little
complex.
Little bit of a dick, but he's not, doing stuff like Homelander did. He's not evil or anything.
Yeah, he's not murdering people. He has his own weird, fucked up hang-ups, but he's not like a killer.
No, yeah, and that's what I really liked about it. That it was just like that sort of, it was like a JSA show with like an older Superman dealing with family troubles and stuff like that.
Yeah, there were some really good performances in there, some interesting twists and turns. Obviously, a lot of people were quick to say, well, how the fuck does this bode for the rest of the Millerverse that Netflix dumped a bunch of money in to adapt a bunch of his things? Apparently, they had like 5 other shows of his.
I think they're moving on to like Super Crooks or something.
They are, which is in the Jupiter's Legacy universe, but like off to the side.
Yeah, which, again, doesn't make much sense. Do another season of this, and hell, maybe even this show could get picked up by something like Hulu or something.
That's the rumor too. Apparently, Miller says, and even Duhamel, that's the right guy, is Duhamel or who am I
Josh
thinking?
Duhamel, yeah.
Yeah, Josh Duhamel. Even they were saying on social media, hey, we believe in the show. We're going to try and shop it around to other networks.
Yeah, it's very strange. Again, like Netflix is very strange at stuff like this.
Are.
Like they'll get a show that's like a hit, and they won't. They'll like push that off to the side. Like Altered Carbon, they did 2 seasons of that, and it was really fantastic. And
American Vandal,
and they're just like, American Vandal. They're just nah, and yet they'll keep, like pump money into just like crap.
Yeah, where it's like, usually they wait till there's 2 seasons to cancel it. It's so weird that they canceled it at 1 after already giving Miller a bunch of money and after already, saying that they're going to try and bring the whole Millerverse to life. So again, it's so weird. I feel like we have not heard the whole story behind this yet.
Yeah.
Did the actors want to unionize? Netflix doesn't like that.
Yeah.
They really don't like that. Or is it just, Netflix were like, we don't care. Didn't, wasn't as huge as we wanted it to be. We'll do the next one, we guess, and the next one after that. We don't care.
Like the numbers apparently for like the first like week or so, like the day it was released, were pretty high. Like it was on the number 1 spot and number 2 spot for quite a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, and like usually that bodes pretty well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very weird. And like also too, they're not just doing other stuff. Like apparently they're doing animated stuff from Miller. They're doing, more spin-offs, something about villains, which I feel like maybe they greenlit that one because of Suicide Squad. Like, oh, you have a villain team thing too?
Yeah. Well, again, a lot of like Miller, especially his more recent work, like they sell to Netflix and all these places before the book is even out. Like the big one being Chrononauts. The book wasn't even out yet. It wasn't even scheduled to come out yet, and it had already been sold off and everything.
I remember.
And then when you read the stuff, you're like, oh yes, I can see how he wrote this as a script that he then turned into a comic book.
Yeah. as the chat is mentioning too, it might not be the end. They mentioned Tuca and Birdie, a show that Netflix canceled prematurely, only for it to end up getting saved by Adult Swim. So there's a chance this could get saved elsewhere.
Yeah, I hope it does.
Same. Again, because, it getting canceled kind of fucks with my own theory of, the superhero genre being so big it doesn't need to be Marvel and DC anymore, and people can actually roll the dice on more interesting ideas.
Yeah.
Also, too, you gotta wonder if, Jeff Lemire started sweating a little bit when he heard this was canceled. This creator-owned comic show got canceled after only one season, and, what's that? Sweet Tooth comes out this week? Fuck me, hide the money, hide all the money, return the sports cars.
I hope they don't cancel Sweet Tooth, because, that first season was really well done.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check.
I mean, I'm gonna say they probably won't, because it's got the backing of Robert Downey Jr. and stuff behind it. So
there you go.
They probably won't, and Warner Brothers and stuff. So
yeah, what did this show have the backing of? Not them.
Yeah,
not those guys.
Yeah.
Also, apropos of the boys, because we mentioned it there, we actually saw Jensen Ackles there as Soldier Boy for The Boys season 3.
Yeah, looks fine. Looks like how he was probably going to look if he got the Captain America role, which he was up for.
I know, which is kind of fun bit casting. What an interesting career that man had. The suit is fun because it is just such a mashup of Captain America and Winter Soldier and everything.
Again, I don't think they could have done the Soldier Boy suit from the comics.
No, because it's just Captain America.
Yeah. So they had to change it up a bit, and it fits the aesthetic of the show.
It does. It certainly does. And it'll be interesting, too, to see them kind of do more Marvel-inspired characters, because obviously the first 2 seasons were all very DC-inspired character-heavy.
Yep.
Also, too, I wonder, will Soldier Boy have the same relationship with the Homelander that he did in the comics? Because it's different, guys. It's very different. All right, then. So that's all the news for this week. I think we can move on to what we read this week. And again, another huge week. Didn't read everything I wanted, unfortunately, but I did read a lot.
Yeah.
Where would you like to begin, Matt?
What did we have? We had Batman issue 109.
Yes, we certainly did. The big debut or re-debut, if you want to look at it, of the Peacemaker.
Yeah, definitely. It was the debut of the proto Peacemaker.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Batman, he's still dealing with the Scarecrow and his new plot to make, people in Gotham so scared that the whole thing ends up boiling over, no doubt, into fear state.
Absolutely.
Again, I kind of like Crane being all subtle here. It's no, I don't even have to put gas out there. People are so paranoid and fucked up already.
It's a cool new plan for him. Yeah, he's realizing he doesn't need his gas to fuck with the people.
And clearly, Tynan is taking direct inspiration from that first year of Corona, where it's people are so afraid of a Scarecrow gas attack. They're buying up all the toilet paper and water and everything.
Yep.
So I'm ooh, this hits close to home. I guess you can only write this now because things are actually getting a little better.
Yeah. We also got, Batman still dealing with what Miracle Molly said about him helping Gotham more if he got rid of his past, and again him still considering that, which I ultimately think he will consider doing that, actually go ahead with it.
Yeah, I can see he has a moment where he wants to do it, but then he comes to the realization that most heroes do, and that's no, we are all a tapestry of the events in our lives, good and bad. I am every bit the Batman I am because of my trauma and darkness and everything, and I need to keep that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always need to bring me down. Maybe Batman can be Happy Man one time. Surprisingly, a lot of this issue actually involved Harley Quinn and Ghostmaker.
Yeah, that was a big chunk of the issue.
Sure was. We get to see Ghostmaker's own personal Batcave, the Haunt.
Yeah, again, are you still getting people that don't seem to realize that he is meant to be sort of a parody on Batman, or an alternate take on Batman? They don't seem to understand that that's the point of the character. He's trying to be better than Batman.
He's an anti-Batman.
Wasn't that literally the story he was introduced in, called Better Than Batman?
Yes, it certainly was, and it's all about him trying to one-up Batman. I've got a bigger dinosaur. I've got a bigger car. I've got a fancier cave. My hero dick's bigger than your hero dick.
Yeah, and I do like the symmetry of where Batman has a cave. He has like a penthouse suite.
Yep. One is low, one is up high.
Pretty cool.
Also, too, he says, yeah, Harley, I like you. I've spent a lot of my life talking to psychiatrists. In fact, I am a textbook sociopath. But I decided to be all Dexter Sherlock about it and try and, put those, failings into try and make the world a better place instead of being like a politician or a Fortune 500 owner.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's actually fairly interesting characterization. That's like he could have gone one way in life, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Gardener, who I kept thinking was going to be revealed to be a big new villain, actually isn't.
Nah, she's like a messenger almost. This issue.
Just a friend of Pamela Isley from college. Well, ex-girlfriend, actually.
Yeah, and again, the characters are made aware that Ivy is underground, all the way from that Secret Files issue, that Joker was Secret Files, all the way back then, is under the city, and she's like made her roots go all through the city, and if anyone tries to like apprehend her or stop her from what she's doing, she can just rip the city out and just make it collapse in on itself like no man's land again.
Yeah, she's just going to sink the whole city, which again, I'm like, hey, is this going to be part of Fear State, or is that the next story after Fear State?
Feels like the next story.
Yeah, I'm like, because that feels like a whole story unto itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was basically the long and short of the story. Simon Saint puts his plan into action to, basically fake a terrorist attack, so Mayor Nakano will have no choice but to deploy the Peacekeepers.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, all in all, his plan made a lot of sense.
It did. It makes heaps sense.
Of course, they still haven't answered the question yet, and that is Scarecrow working for him, or is he working for Scarecrow?
Yeah, we don't really know. We still get those, like forward in time stories of, like, Batman, like, kidnapped by the Scarecrow.
Yeah, clearly something's going to happen there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting device, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of Batman and everything, we had another Batman book this week, but from Marvel, and that was Heroes Reborn. We were just talking about alternate takes on Batman, and Jason Aaron's take on Batman for Nighthawk is like, what if he was a giant raging hypocrite, but knew he was a giant raging hypocrite?
What if he was insane and knew he was insane and just didn't give a shit?
Just didn't give a shit about anything or anyone. What if he literally mowed down mentally ill criminals with a gun, and then in his, guise as a congressman from DC tried to pass legislation to put more money into the, mental health of America? And I'm like, wow, just a massive hypocrite, which again, you could easily paint Batman with the hypocrite label. So it's funny to see Nighthawk just shamelessly say one thing and do another.
Yeah.
And, of course, we get to reimagine a bunch of classic Spider-Man villains in Ravencroft as Batman villains.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We got, obviously, the big one being the Goblin, who's meant to be, like, the Joker. Even have, like, the whole Dark Knight Returns thing where he gets, like, hit by the Hawkerangs, and he, like, pushes him into his eyes and everything.
Instead of killing Jason Todd, he killed the Falcon, Sam Wilson, which, of course, the bird-themed hero has a bird-themed sidekick.
Yep, and even Gwen Stacy is one of his sidekicks, kind of like Carrie Kelly, but except her name's Nightbird. Yeah,
or Night Gwen, as she occasionally calls herself. The Night Gwen costume is actually pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually... What is it with Gwen and getting amazing suits in one-off joke appearances? But yeah, so they fight him, they, screw around there for a little bit, and yeah, genuinely, it's just kind of fun. It's basically Jason Aaron being like, look, if you let me write a Batman story, I'd write something like this.
Yeah, I was just sticking with that. I read American Nights, and again, that's a Heroes Reborn tie-in, and again, it was Gotham Central, but in Marvel.
Right, because it's Commissioner Luke Cage.
Yeah, Commissioner Luke Cage and detectives Misty Knight and Jessica Jones. And then investigating the Saint, the Daredevil guy, who Matt Murdock on this is a clergyman at the Church of Mephisto in DC.
Oh, interesting.
And he's like L. Ron Hubbard. He's like shepherding this like Scientology kind of church sort of thing.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and he's dressing up and like beating up his villains, and the thing on his chest isn't an S. It's a serpent.
Oh shit!
For like Mephisto sort of thing, yeah. And it's just like Luke Cage just dealing with like tracking down the Saint and stopping him and everything. It's great as well because we get even more Batman stuff because he's got a hawk signal on the roof of the GC on the PD building. There's a news station run by Betty Brant whose logo is DC Talk, but the logo is like the old DC logo from just before the new one they have. You know how that folded over C sort of thing. It's just that. Yeah,
hey everyone! In case you didn't know, in case you didn't get it, this is what we're riffing on.
It's really weird as well because like all these characters aren't in New York anymore; they're all in Washington because that's where all the story is set. So it's just so weird.
Because it's the District of Columbia, DC.
Yeah, it's just really weird, but it kind of fits as well. It's great.
This whole Heroes Reborn thing, and I said it every week and I'll say it again, feels like Jason Aaron challenged himself to do a writing exercise. Like, I bet I could superimpose the DC universe into the Marvel universe without having to create anything new.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, it kind of did, and I'm sure one of the higher-ups, what is it, Akira Yoshida was like, I dare you, I double dog dare you, Jason. And he's like, fine, and I'm calling it Heroes Reborn. And that's what he did. So, that was Heroes Reborn. Pretty fun. I like as the story goes on, the heroes become more unhinged and more unlikable. Like Hyperion, fairly likable if misguided. Blur, again, likable if misguided. Spectrum and Nighthawk, total assholes.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to get the exact same with Power Princess as well. Just from, like, what we've learned about her backstory. How she, like, killed all her people and everything, and... Yeah, again, I think she's probably going to be one of the biggest arseholes of the team.
Also, it's like, how much time are they going to be able to finish this in 7 issues, or are they going to do what I guess they would have done from the beginning, and as like, okay, that's Heroes Reborn done, Heroes Return is the next arc, which is them defeating the Squad.
That's the last issue of the whole series. It's called Heroes Return.
Oh, okay, fun. Is it just going to be an extra long issue?
And again, it's like I said, it's. The main story is happening in the backups,
which is so funny.
And the backups, what would usually be the backups, is the actual main story.
Yeah,
it's great. I love it.
It's very fun and very comic booky.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love it all.
We also got to see Black Panther come back under the guise of Ronin, so you can add him to the ever-growing list of people who are Ronin.
That was pretty cool. Cool.
Also, the costume he's wearing is his old movie, or is his old comic costume, not his new movie costume.
Yeah, he's got, like, the big cape.
Yeah, which I like. I miss the cape. Is this an idea moving forward? Are they going to do that for the new movie? Or are they like, hey, capes are in now, and make him go back to his old one?
Do it.
I kind of dig it. It's kind of fun. Like, it's not like a big fanfare moment. It's just like, yeah, I'm in my old costume. Is that implying that if, like, T'Challa never left Wakanda and never met the Avengers, he would never have felt the need to retrofit his costume, which is obviously like, the garb of his culture, to look more like a superhero? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I dig it. What else did you have this week, Matt?
I had the first issue in The War of the Bounty Hunters.
Ooh, the Bounty Hunters be warring?
Oh, and they do be warring, and this was a pretty big... this is a big fucking issue, just for, like, Star Wars continuities in general. So, yeah, like, we had all the tie-ins that sort of sent everyone on their way towards all of this, and we learned in a lot of those tie-ins there was, like, some event happening, or, like, as people got invitations to something. And this issue starts off with Boba Fett on the warpath. Someone took Han Solo from him. He wants to know who, so he like kills his way through 4LOM and 4LOM and Zuckuss, who direct him. Yeah, he actually, I think, kills them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they hella dead? Because they're like named Star Wars characters.
I want to say, I know they get a tie-in issue, but it could always be a backup story. But like, he kicks Zuckuss off like a cliff on Nar Shaddaa and like blows apart 4LOM and just throws his head off a Tatooine cliff.
Because I'm sure like 4LOM and Zuckuss must be somebody's favorite, even if they're the lesser tier ones. You think Star Wars wouldn't kill them off if they could get them to be on like The Mandalorian or something? Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know, but yeah, he finds out that he had a bounty put on him because he hadn't delivered Han yet, and he had it put on to him by Jabba the Hutt. So he goes and like tries to confront Jabba, and Bib Fortuna's there, and it's like, Jabba's not here. We find that Jabba and the rest of the Hutt cartels have all been summoned to like this big event. Ooh. And it's an event being put on by Crimson Dawn, who are like coming back into the galaxy because they disappeared there for like a number of years.
They did.
And they're coming back, and them taking Han Solo was sort of like a show of respect to get Jabba and everything like sorted involved in all of this, because they have a deal going and want Jabba to like come and talk to him about it. And all these characters are sort of coming together, and like the people of Crimson Dawn are asking their leader, like, why did you take Han Solo? Like, he's a fucking smuggler, and not a very good one at that.
No,
and
not really.
The leader says it's because he unites the galaxy. He's involved in the lives of some of the most important people in the galaxy, from like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, Dr. Aphra. All these people have a piece of Han Solo with them, and he unites the galaxy. And what better way to bring them together than taking him? And we learn the leader of Crimson Dawn is Kira from the Solo film.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, the first time we've seen her since that film.
Hey, you know the Solo sequel we're probably never going to make? Well, here you go. Here's some ideas from that.
This is it. And again, it's got me questioning if they were going to bring her back in this. They're bringing her back some way, some shape in live action somewhere. Because they wouldn't just give her something this big just to waste her in that.
I like they're not ignoring it. They're like, hey, guys, don't worry. Solo did actually happen.
Yeah. So she has like Han, and her whole thing is like Han tried to save her in that film, and now she's trying to save Han.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Unexpected.
Yes, very. I originally, because I thought like, because Charles Soule was teasing, there's going to be some big stuff, and I'm like, he's going to bring back like Black Sun and Prince Shizor and stuff from like Shadows of the Empire.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because that's what I thought they were building towards, and it's like, no, it's Crimson Dawn and Kira and all that.
So Black Sun, are they still technically... I guess they're not back at this point in continuity, so we're not in, like, Shadows of the Empire territory yet.
Well, again, we are, because this is the exact time period Shadows of the Empire took place in the old canon.
Right. But now we have Crimson Dawn taking the place of Black Sun, more or less.
Black Sun, I think, are still around. I know they were in Clone Wars.
Yeah, I know they were in the cartoon.
I'm just trying to think if they were disbanded or not. I don't think they were. I think they're just not as big as they were in, like, the Legends canon.
Because I always felt like if they did another cartoon or even in one of these news shows, I think that would blow everyone's fucking minds, where they're like, yeah, who are the villains this season? It's Black Sun and Prince Shizor. That'd be
so fucking cool.
We're doing it like we did Thrawn, where it's like, hey, everyone, remember this guy you like? Well, he's canon again, and he's the villain for this whole season.
That'd be so awesome.
They should do that. I mean, they got a lot going on.
Yeah.
All right, what else was this week? I had Suicide Squad number 4, which I thought they were done with the stupid Teen Titans crossover, but they're not.
Oh, really?
So I didn't even clock this at the end of that Titans book because I was so mad, but apparently they had like taken Red X with them back to Bel Rev when they left.
Okay.
And this whole issue is like Waller being like, I'm going to break you, Red X, and you're going to join my team, but she doesn't put a bomb in his neck right away for some stupid reason. So he escapes naturally and lets all the other inmates out. So the Suicide Squad has to fight them, and Connor has to go out of his way to try and save people. And his plan is fucking stupid. He's like, I want all peoples to break their changes, and I want to talk to Waller. Waller's not here. She's a hologram. I'm going to go to her office. Well, I'm going to explode a bomb in her office so I can escape. And I'm like, so you wanted nothing, is what you're saying. You literally have no reason to be here. And he defeats every member of the squad single-handedly. That pissed me off, too.
Oh, of course, he's a Gary Stu.
He's the best. He's the best that's ever been or ever will be.
Yeah.
I could not help but think of wrestling writing, where I'm like, you're trying to smash Red X over as your hot new tweener anti-hero, so now he's going to beat up all the established members of this book. And, he knows more than everyone else, too. Like, Connor, I know why you're here. I know why Waller took you, but I'm not going to tell.
Yeah, and see, the problem is, as well, is like so many people love Red X because of that Teen Titans show.
Yep.
That they'll be like, yeah, that's so awesome.
He was in one episode. He was in one episode when he wasn't the Robin.
Again, it's that Red Hood whole deal where it's like, oh, he's got a cool costume, so he's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's getting really egregious. One part did make me laugh though, where he's fighting William Cobb, the Talon in the air ducts, and he's like, "Hey, William, I know you're actually not crazy and you're faking it." He's like, "Wait, what?" So yeah, Cobb is faking being crazy.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He shouldn't know that, but he does.
Yeah, I just really was hoping that they go back on. It looks like they are going into that in, I think, within the next issue or so. Just like what we saw in Future State, because that stuff in Future State was so good.
It certainly was. Well, the one good thing that kind of saved it is because Red X let all the prisoners out. They got everyone back except for one, and that one is Bloodsport, and he got out, and the squad's got to go pick him up.
Yeah, because he's got a movie coming out.
Bloodsport, you look a lot like actor Idris Elba. No, I don't. Pshaw. But there you go. So that's one good thing that came from it. God damn, this issue was greatly disappointing. I'm so glad this Titans crossover is over. It didn't get anyone over. It got both books under.
I was going to say, like, nothing came of it.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing, like, you would have thought, like, oh, Bolt will join them, or, like, yeah, Red X will be part of the team now. So, no, nothing happened.
Squad didn't get Bolt. Titans didn't learn anything else about Red X.
No.
I guess we got Bolt's origin, but we could have got that anyway. That's all we got.
Again, yeah, that could have just been something we done in Teen Titans.
Oh, Tevy is saying that it was Rick Flag, not Bloodsport, but the next story is called Bloodsport.
Yeah. So
there you go. But that's something. So that was Suicide Squad. Not the best. Could have been better. Could have been better. What else did you have, Matt?
Let's have a look. Oh, I had Justice League issue 62.
Yes, I had this too.
Again, more great stuff with this alternate Earth that the Justice League find them on. And they end up fighting the big villain. And then the bigger villain, Zombardo, shows up.
Which is good, because I'm like, man, Brutus and these, like, post-apocalyptic scavengers really aren't good villains. Then at the last minute, hey, me, Zombardo, I've actually been puppeteering all of this from the beginning. I will be your villain for the end of the book. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it made sense he'd show up again.
More good-natured Bendis comedy there. Aquaman wakes up and people don't want to kill him. There's actually a nice family who saved him. Well, the dad saved him. The rest of the family is indifferent.
Like, I thought I was missing a page of my comic, because like he has that really great stuff with like the family. He learns their names and sort of like wants to help. There's like that big explosion.
Yep.
And then like later on he just like turns up to the battle in a tank.
In an aqua tank.
It's like did you miss a page? Was there a page missing here?
Quite possibly. Flash and Hippolyta actually have an interesting little heart-to-heart where, Barry essentially asks her to come join the team because, like Green Arrow said, they're looking for new, new perspectives.
Yep.
Yeah, new perspectives, and she has a lot to offer the team, especially because they don't have Diana anymore, and, it's a whole thing. And they make Barry look like a dumbass who forgot to do his math, which is why the Justice League got scattered.
I can see why, because he did it using the multiverse map, but then he realizes that
it's different now.
Her world isn't on the multiverse; it's in like a different dimension in the multiverse. I could see why he would make that mistake.
Barry Allen, I can think like a supercomputer, but I don't dot my T's or cross my I's.
It's his ADHD, okay? It got in the way.
Fair enough. Remember, Flash, measure twice, cut once. But yeah, beyond that, there's not much else to say about this issue. It was very fast.
It was very fast, but it was all action, basically. It was great-looking action as well.
Oh, yeah. The artist made a meal of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, David Marquez.
Yeah, Marquez making a meal of this one, drawing some pretty pictures.
Yeah.
But what else did you have?
I caught up on the new Green Lantern book. I read the first 3 issues.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. You put out 3 Green Lantern videos pretty back-to-back. What's going on there?
Pretty fucking cool stuff. So, again, it's like combining stuff we saw in Future State.
Right.
Where the Lanterns are joining the United Planets, and the whole deal is that people don't really want them to, because they joined. They've got like the biggest force of the United Planets because they've got all the Lanterns and they're all spread out and like got footholds in every like sector and everything.
And their militaristic space cops whose
Yeah, yeah.
guardians occasionally go nuts every so often.
So what happens is the Green Lantern Corps gets reformed, and they end up losing half of their sectors. They give up half their sectors to the United Planets, which will be defended by them, and they'll have the other half. And they end up getting rid of the entire hierarchy of the Green Lantern Corps. So there's no like torchbearer guardians or like leader guardians. Everyone now has a equal role to play in the whole thing.
So really, we're kind of going back in time, is what we're doing now.
Yeah. So yeah, no one's greater or lesser than, and all the lanterns get like reassigned, and all the human lanterns get reassigned to the Crux worlds. And the Crux worlds, we learn, are really important because every universe in the multiverse and omniverse have 7 Crux worlds. Ooh. And we learn that one of them was Krypton, which was destroyed on part of the Guardians' fault and everything. Another one was Xanshi, which is a world that actually Jon Stewart ended up letting get destroyed.
And he feels really bad about it for like decades.
Yeah, and it's that reason why the Guardians they like kind of make him not really a leader, but like someone that like they can turn to for his opinion, which throws Jon off like greatly, because they're like, fuck, Guardians asking for someone's opinion? What the fuck happened to you?
So Jon is the focal point on this one. Yes. It's not Hal, because Morrison still has Hal.
No. Morrison's book's finished, but Hal is off protecting Earth, which is one of the Crux worlds, because it's called the Crux of Heroes. Because so many heroes come from Earth in one lifetime. It needs to be protected. And we learn that when the new gods all die out, Earth will become the new 5th world.
Oh, shit. Which is funny, because didn't Darkseid kill a bunch of new gods?
Yeah. Well, he killed the Omnipotence, what do they call what do they call
the Quintessence or whatever.
Quintessence, that's the one.
Which wasn't Highfather on that one?
Yes. So
there you go. So they're one new god
and
down.
A Guardian.
Oh, yeah, that too. Fuck. Yeah. Has anyone said, hey, where's our Guardian, buddy?
Well, yeah, again, a Guardian is killed in this issue because people don't want the Guardians joining the United Planets, so one gets murdered. They end up getting into the United Planets, and the Guardian gets like his funeral. He get his life energy gets put into the battery, central power battery, so it can be used by all the lanterns. The central power battery then promptly explodes. And all the Green Lanterns and all the Green Lantern rings are lost in space because they all went off on their new assignments, so they have no rings. And Jon was leading a party of 1,000 lanterns into the dark sector, which are these sectors of space that have been cornered off by some artificial omniverse cyclone barriers that someone is doing deliberately.
Spacey shit.
Yeah. He led them into he's called the quest leader. He's leading them on a quest. And all the lantern ring goes down, and the only ones that have rings now is Sojourner Mullen, the lantern from Far Sector, who returns to find Oa like completely destroyed and everything, and the only ones left alive like Teen Lantern, who still has her gauntlet because it's not actually green energy it uses something else. Yes. We're still learning a bit more about hers.
Hey, they made that make a lot more sense, didn't they?
Yeah. We know it's not Krona's gauntlet, it's something else. Which we'll learn through this book. And the only other lantern that has it, and it's a really, again, going back to all these great runs through the New 52 he had, is Hal Jordan, whose ring isn't an actual Green Lantern ring, it's his ring that he forged from Krona's gauntlet.
Himself, yeah.
It's made out of, it's literally him, it's his pure willpower.
There is just so much continuity in these Green Lantern books, isn't there?
That's the thing. Jeffrey Thorne, the new writer, he expertly makes it all make sense, and
but it doesn't sound impenetrable, which I appreciate.
No, you could actually pick this up and be like, hey, if you read Infinite Frontier, you'll know where the story's going.
That's good. That's always the big problem.
Future State, you'll know where the story's going.
Yeah, that's the big problem, I think, with Green Lantern books, and why I haven't read one in so long, where it's like, I feel like I need to know so much I don't know.
Yeah, no, you could just easily pick these books up.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know how many you read this week, but the other big thing this week was, of course, the Hellfire Gala.
Yes, I only read the Marauders.
Okay, I read Marauders. I also read, X-Force and Hellions, because I wanted to get the 3 I normally read down.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll talk about Marauders, because really Marauders is the book that it all spins out of. Emma Frost and the Hellfire Trading Company are having a big fancy party, a big soiree to try and break bread with friends and enemies alike and show how good Krakoa is doing in, like, the first year.
Yeah, how good they are and how not evil committing war crimes Beast and everyone is.
No. Oh, man, we're going to get into war crimes when we talk about X-Force, let me tell ya. What's cool about this is they kind of set up like a little Rashomon, like Pulp Fiction thing, where you see the party from Emma's point of view in this book, and then every other book you see it from the point of view of other people, so you actually glean more information.
Yep.
The more books you read till eventually you get the full picture. And Emma Frost, she's glad-handed. She's talking to the Avengers. She's talking to the Fantastic Four, who are still frosty to to the X-Men naturally, because what happened in that Chip Zdarsky book. Though, hey, to Hickman's credit, to Duggan's credit, they're sure to mention, oh yeah, Franklin, you're not a mutant anymore, so that fight we had was really for nothing. Oops. But also, Reed whispers something too. To Xavier, and we don't know what he said.
No.
Could be a veiled threat, could be their way to get out of something later on.
He called him a bitch.
Yeah, he called him an Emmy-looking bitch with his gold trim. You Academy Award-looking motherfucker, you. Yeah, it's the chat saying there's a lot of fun cameos. Yeah, Jewel, the Run the Jewels guy were there. Killer Mike and the other one.
Yeah, I saw Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. Yeah, there's a lot of people there. Yet, not the actors who play the Avengers in the Marvel movies, which is a missed opportunity.
It's very strange, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, missed opportunity. So this book actually does something interesting, is that, Emma, she gives her big toast and everything, and then the book jumps ahead to the end of the night, to midnight, and apparently something horrible happened, and we don't know what it is, and a lot of people left unhappy.
Yeah.
And we learn what one of those things might be in X-Force, where we see that Beast is using the party as an excuse to try out a new project he's working on. Remember Terra Verde, Matt? That Central American country with the plant weapons?
Yes.
Well, so that country got decimated, right? So what Beast decided to do was take some of those plant monsters, brainwash them with the help of Black Tom Cassidy, and basically make them his own moles at the party.
Yep.
To try and break bread. And you're like, oh, that's horrifying. You took a whole nation's, free will away for your own good. And he's like, okay, that's bad, but I'm going to make it worse. So I'm also using the plant people to plant organic bugs on other dignitaries and superheroes so I can spy on them after they leave.
Yes, war crime Beast.
What a motherfucker. The big difference is that Emma Frost is actually onto his bullshit.
Yep.
And she comes to Sage, and it's like, hey, you better fucking stop, because if we get caught, it's all of our asses. And Wolverine and Domino can't help because they have to deal with Deadpool, who swam onto the island and wants to crash the party.
Yeah.
And that's just fucking funny. And Deadpool's like, I'm a mutant, I should be invited. No, you're not. Wait, well, I'm mutant affiliated, I should get to come. And it's the whole party trying to stop him. And of course, Beast Plan bites him in the ass because the plant monsters end up getting corrupted and start infecting other people. So,
Yep,
You wonder, is Beast going to be able to slink away from this one, or is the Quiet Council finally going to end up having to put him on trial for some bullshit?
Well, see, I could see like they'll put him on trial and be like, "Oh, you broke the second rule, no killing humans." But it's like, but then like Xavier will be like, but he did it because of this and this reason, and we'll let you go.
That's the other thing too, where it's like, yeah, Beast did a lot of bad stuff. He did it because we told him to, though.
Yeah.
He's swinging the axe, but we didn't give someone else gave the order.
It's like what Xavier said in X-Men 20, where it's like, look, we're handling this Orchard situation, but we want to keep our hands clean now, so we're just going to let Mystique take the fall for this. We're just going to stand over here and just turn the other way. What she does, we don't see.
To quote another old famous war criminal, he's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. Which is kind of how the Quiet Council is dealing with Beast and X-Force at the moment.
Yep.
4D Mike there says, remember when Beast was cool? Oh, he's cool, but he's a son of a bitch.
Yeah, and I love that the book paints him like that as well. Like,
yeah,
where like, no, he's doing terrible, terrible things. You should not like this character.
He has fallen so far from the light at this point. But then again, you could make an argument that, like, literally since Xavier put him on the Illuminati, he's been drifting further and further into this, and this is just the ultimate...
island. The island made him a bit more what's the word? He's doing stuff in the open now, and just like he's a bit more what's the word?
Flagrant about it.
Yeah.
A little more flagrant with his bad behavior. Shit, I should really make a video at some point, call it, the corruption of Beast or something. Because, like, literally, like, Hickman could only do this because his behavior in all the other books was sinister, whether he joined the Illuminati because Xavier's like, oh, well, you're going to be the cold calculating one. I know you'll make the right choice, Hank. Mm-hmm. To, rolling out the red carpet for the Secret Empire to try and save mutant kind in that. To fucking with time and bringing the young X-Men in when he shouldn't have without asking anyone.
Yep.
And again, these are all different writers who had the same idea, so it's like, really, if we're going in this direction, we might as well just make him the cold Amanda Waller-esque Taskmaster of X-Force.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that was a lot of fun, and this story is actually going to be finished in Wolverine.
Oh, nice.
The last one I had was Hellions, and Hellions is just pure good-natured comedy.
Yeah, it's just them just, like, crashing the party.
Yeah, Sinister got to go, Havoc got to go, and Quanon got to go because they're important. No one else got to go because they're supervillains and murderers, and people don't like them. But Grey Crow
had to stay upstairs.
They had to stay upstairs, with the kids when the party's going on. But Grey Crow is seemingly developing a bit of a crush on Quanon now, and he basically gets drunk and tells everyone else, we're crashing that party, we're going, everyone, boys' night. And, they just make the party really awkward for everyone. Havoc goes around asking people, can we bring back Madeline Pryor? Can we bring back Madeline Pryor? Please, everyone's like, shut up, Havoc.
Was that panel, I haven't read the book, was that panel of Orphan Maker being pushed down the stairs at the Hellfire Gala in the book?
It is not actually, which is a shame because it's hilarious.
It's so hilarious.
Orphan Maker has a great bit, though, because he's still technically underage, so he can't be at this party. So Empath's like, don't worry, I'll give you the feeling of being drunk. I'll just take away your inhibition and make you feel happy, which is just what booze is anyway. So he's stumbling around like he's drunk, even though he's not. Wild Child sees his ex-girlfriend Aurora from Alpha Flight, but she's dating Dawkins now, so he tries to fight fucking Dawkins, so Grey Crow has to get in and stop him, but...
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Orphan Maker thinks they're wrestling, so he jumps them, and then Nanny breaks a bottle and goes after him. It's literally that scene in Freddy Got Fingered, where it's like, it's a nice restaurant, we're in a nice restaurant. And Magneto just picks them all up with his magnet powers and gets them to leave. The funny thing is, though, is that even though it was a total fuck-up shit show, this is the closest they've ever been as a team without having their memories wiped or them dying.
Yeah.
So it was actually a really, really positive experience for everyone until they get back and find another Mr. Sinister there. Not just any Mr. Sinister. This one claims he's the real one.
Oh, God.
Or the original, which again, I'm like, wait, when they say original, does they mean, is that the one that this one defeated back in Hawks and Pox? Because, he was the mutant Mr. Sinister? Mm-hmm. Or is this the Mr. Sinister clone that got talked to at the beginning of X of Swords when he didn't want to go, so they rock, paper, scissored with each other?
Yeah.
And we never got to see which one the real one was. So yeah, there's another one now.
Okay.
That claims to be the real one. It's like, is he friend or foe? What's the deal? Because even at the party, when Sinister's introducing himself to the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, he's like, no, I'm not that Sinister. That was the old Sinister. I'm different enough. But yeah, it's just really fucking funny and just a really good time. I love X of Sword, or I love Hellions. It is just a darkly twisted little comedy love letter.
It's great.
It's the best. I hope it keeps making. I think people who love the book really see what it's about and are really into it.
Mm-hmm.
I had one more. What about you?
I didn't have any more. No.
Okay, I'll be really quick with this one. Amazing Spider-Man 67, the beginning of the Chameleon Conspiracy.
I haven't read this one yet, but this is the one I'm jumping on. I have seen some of the pages from it, though.
This is a pretty good time to jump on because it's basically the start of a brand new storyline that's also referencing a bunch of stuff that came before that didn't get wrapped up in King's Ransom.
Yeah.
So Teresa Parker goes to kill the chameleon in prison. He's being held in Simcara, the place that Silver Sable runs.
Yeah.
Because, they got like a Guantanamo Bay deal with the United States. We'll send you people if you can torture them for us. And she's like, yo, I'm going to kill you, chameleon. And he's like, look, if you wanted to kill me, I think you would have done it before. I think, you want some answers about your parents. Because a lot of your story makes no sense. Because you were like a Mysterio illusion, but then you weren't all of a sudden.
Yep.
The fuck's up with that? And then, like, chameleon, apropos of nothing, says, hey, there was one time... And he tells the very real story of when I tricked Peter Parker into thinking his parents were alive with life model decoys. So, like, hey, didn't you think that's weird? Also, hey, who hired me for that job? Oh, Harry Osborn hired me for that job. Isn't that interesting? So, you might not be who you think you are. Also, Ned Leeds is seemingly back from the dead now, and Betty is saying he's the one who got her pregnant.
Yeah.
Which technically he was back before as a clone, then he died again. So wait, is this a clone? Is this someone that Kindred brought back from the dead because we know he has that power?
Mm-hmm. Could this be like that? There was that body, that extra body.
Could it be that? There are so many places they're going with this. Is Betty even Betty when she just showed up out of the blue like that? We don't know.
She's Kindred as well.
Is she also? Everyone is Kindred. Remember we said Bane was behind it? Well, everyone is actually Kindred.
Yeah.
So that's freaking nuts. We see more about the Clairvoyant, which is, that guy Peter was working with to try and tell build a future-telling device, but they don't have the power source from 2099 anymore. So he ends up getting roped in by chance in the supervillain casino to steal a power source to pay off a debt.
Yep.
And that's fucking nuts. And the big final reveal there is Chameleon's like, look, you don't want to kill me. You don't want to talk to me, Teresa. Who you got to talk to is Carl the Finisher, a.k.a. the guy Red Skull actually hired to kill your parents all the way back in whenever.
Yeah.
But wait, he died too in his fight with Spider-Man, or he should have, but he's back now.
Duh.
Is he a clone? Is he a robot? Is he back from hell? So this is the story. Here's a bunch of people. Some of these people are not who they say they are. I was interested by this issue, but at the same time, I'm like, uh-oh, Nick Spencer, you're flying too close to the sun when you start talking about the Parkers and all the spy shit. That stuff has always been dumb.
Yeah, again, like, maybe he could make it work, but yeah, I don't think so.
It's always been a little dumb and a little unnecessary. And actually, too, out of the blue today, they announced that Amazing Spider-Man is actually getting a co-writer now moving forward. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. I can't remember who it is.
Here, I'm going to look that up right now.
But yeah, when I did hear it, I'm thinking, oh, this is to, like, probably, like, get Nick cracking on these stories and be like, no, you can't be taking 70-odd issues to tell this one story.
To tell your... Ed Bresson was the one.
That's the one, yep.
Which I like Ed Bresson. I think he has some good ideas, but I don't think I've ever read any of his ongoing. Hopefully he blends well with Spencer on this book. But yeah, I know a lot of people, Sal, our friend Kurt, and everyone are like, good, thank you. Someone cracked the whip on this madman, because apparently no one else is as patient as I am for this story.
Yeah, I've like been liking what I'm reading, but yeah, I can see where it's like, yeah, he's taking 60-odd issues to get to the story he started in like issue 3.
It's literally taken him like 2 years to come back to this clairvoyant thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it can't possibly be 2 years. Then I looked back at my old videos and I'm like, fuck me, it's 2 years. Holy shit.
I still remember that issue, and 2 fucking years. Jesus.
2 years to come back to Jamie the Clairvoyant Man, which again, it's kind of how comics were back in the day, but usually it was because, they kept switching writers and everything and making it look like they didn't. So it's kind of weird to see like a writer trying this hard to emulate stuff from old Spider-Man.
Again, he's got too much power. They gave him too much power.
Too much power. We have to wrestle it away from him. You go, Ed. You try and wrestle the pen away from him.
In his office. Send Ed Bresson in. He's not on a book at the moment.
Yeah, he just won't stop writing. He locked himself in his office and everything's about Boomerang. Why does he have such a deep and interesting story? But yeah, so that was Clone Conspiracy. I am tentatively interested in this, but at the same time, I'm also very afraid that this might be the story that breaks him, because there is a lot of moving parts here and a lot of chances to do something very stupid.
That's kind of like why I fell off. I'm like, okay, he's juggling way too much. Like at the end of like that last Remain stuff, he was just juggling way too much.
So many balls are in the air. And again, with Teresa, it's like, okay, is she going to be an LMD? Is she going to be a clone? Is she going to be some sort of dead spirit? Like, because clearly that's where they're going with this, where it's like she's something.
Yeah, is she chameleon?
Yeah, was she chameleon the whole time? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And again, when you have a story with chameleon, it can literally be anything.
Yeah.
Also, Chameleon, aren't you like mad because Kraven died? Isn't that whole your?
I
whole
thought that was like his
this?
whole thing in that primer for this whole event. Like,
yes, it was.
I want to say 40 issues ago.
For Hunted, yeah, he has not brought up his brother since.
Yeah,
I'm gonna destroy Peter Parker's life because you killed Kraven.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't really stay dead, because we got a younger clone who is just Kraven for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
You killed the Kraven I knew, who actually killed himself before being brought back.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so that's everything I read this week.
Cool.
Shit be cray. So, yeah, I guess we can start winding the show down officially. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us, both the people on Twitch and the people on YouTube. We had, like, at least 40 people on YouTube, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking solid. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and joining us and spending this Monday night with us. I know we normally do it Sunday, but hey, plans change. We always try and keep you abreast of what's going on.
Yep.
If you can't get enough Cape Joel podcast goodness, of course, the second episode of Capes and Crooks dropped this week. You can find the video version on the channel with ads, or the ad-free version over basically everywhere where podcasts can be found. I put it everywhere. Twitch people are saying, well, why can't you put this show on Spotify? Why can't you put this show on whatever? Why? Because I got an app called Anchor that did it all for me, and I'm not re-upping 200 plus episodes. That's why. If I had an intern, if I had someone to do it for me, but I don't. So there you go.
I also want to remind everyone we've got a merch store with more merch coming very soon. We've got a little bit on there at the moment. Not really all that much, but there's definitely more coming in the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm. Some of those designs look really good. That's a great way to support the show. Of course, if you're a patron, you'll get to see this video first before anyone else in both video and audio formats. Check out Wild Bill's Soda. They are once again sponsoring the show. Use the promo code CapeJoel, all one word, and get 10% off a delicious can of wonderful Wild West-inspired craft soda. It's good shit. It gets the Cape Joel seal of approval.
Yeah. Does that also work? Because I got an email saying they got new products of like jerky and like meat products and stuff like that. So hopefully that works for that as well.
I mean, I guess you won't know till you try, but check that out.
Yeah.
Because that sounds delicious. That's something I could actually have on my keto diet, so that's good.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for coming out and joining us. This has always been a pleasure. I think this one's... I mean, I don't know. Should this one go up on YouTube, Matt, or shouldn't it? Like, I know we said we'd try for a month.
Just put it up on YouTube. It looks like it's going back to normal. I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. I feel like I should just do it because you got nice new thumbnails and everything. But then it's like, well, fuck. You know what I should do? I actually uploaded the missing episode over on my other channel. I feel like I should just freaking flip the switch on that one and turn that shit on so people can watch the one video episode they didn't get. Right? Might as well. Go check that out and go subscribe to Cape Joel Extra if you haven't, because I'm probably going to be uploading my Mass Effect Let's Play there soon. I want to have a bunch of episodes banked before I do it.
Nice.
So you can check that one out there. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all again next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.